We believe there is a better story, and it is one of optimism that sees a future of abundance and opportunity, not scarcity and decline. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we open this inaugural ARC conference, we invite you to go on the journey from darkness, fragmentation, division, polarization, and intolerance to a better story, one that is rooted in the infinite value of every human being, built on the freedoms of freedom of conscience, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and woven together with kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control by a responsible people. And as I'm sure we will hear Jordan Peterson say shortly, welcome aboard the Ark.
The demons in Davos have a new challenger, and it promises ultimately to bring about the WEF's demise. Meet the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, a vision of Jordan Peterson to replace the World Economic Forum with a vision of the world dedicated to faith, family, and freedom. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. So it has finally arrived. The Alliance for Responsible Citizenship Conference, or ARC, is meeting this week. Over 1,500 people have gathered together in London as a direct challenge to Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. Some months back, Peterson announced the launching of an alternative consortium which would invite world leaders and businesses to reimagine the future apart from the apocalyptic and technocratic tyranny of the demons in Davos. And this week, that vision has become a reality. Here's Peterson talking about the importance of rediscovering our true humanity for the flourishing of civilization.
The eternal message that's at the foundation of Western civilization, and I would say necessarily at the foundation of civilization as such, is that we are each a divine locus of value, right and responsibility. And if that's true, then we each have a cardinal and irreplaceable role to play in the destiny of the world. And I also believe that's true. And so what we're here to do, all of us, is not to listen to yet another plan to bring about the desirable end, but to meditate communally on what each of us can do as the captains of our own ships to sail the entire fleet towards the promised shores. And that's what we're here to determine. And why do we need that courage and that faith? Well, it's our responsibility, and it's our meaningful responsibility, and it's our duty, and it's our privilege.
Now, at the heart of the conference is recapturing a powerful, vibrant, and optimistic vision of human flourishing in the realms of faith, family, and freedom. So, for example, here's the producer of the amazing film Sound of Freedom, Eduardo Verostegui, on the role of art in a flourishing society.
Media influence how people think. Storytelling. Art has the power to change people's lives forever, for good or for bad. Plato said, if I have to choose between politics or art to govern a nation, he said, I would choose art because art has the power to touch people's hearts and their minds. Therefore, how they think, how they live, how they behave. So storytelling is very powerful, very powerful. I remember when I met Tim Ballard 8 years ago, he told me, I am not the solution, Eduardo. I can be the solution for one child. And of course, you save one child, you save the world. Thank God we are the solution for thousands of children. But we are talking about millions of children that are kidnapped for sexual exploitation. These kids are being raped 10, 15 times a day for many years. And then, when they decline, they don't want them anymore because they're not fresh meat. That's the vocabulary that they use. They go out to the second business. They open them and they sell their organs. We are not the solution. So who is the solution? We need a movement. And art has the power to detonate that movement. I make movies. I said, I'm in. I have a very powerful weapon of mass instruction and inspiration. Movies. Movies can move people.
Here's the comedian and cultural critic Konstantin Kisin on the new alliance between business leaders and cultural creators.
And so I say to our friends in the world of business, you've made your fortunes by maximizing your returns on your investments. We are in the fight of our lives. There is no greater return on your investment than to protect and preserve our civilization. And so I invite you to follow in the footsteps of Elon Musk and Paul Marshall and Ben Dello and many of you here who are using your fortunes for the betterment of humanity. I say to our friends in the media, truth matters. We are in the fight of our lives. There is more to life than clicks and downloads. Let's move beyond the culture war, where all we do is bat away the litany of slanderous allegations about our history. Let's set the agenda. Let's remind our fellow citizens why we are where we are. Let's remind them that we are the most tolerant, open, and welcoming societies in the history of the world. We're not embarrassed about our past. We're proud of it. And to my colleagues in new media especially, I say this. The legacy media is dying for a reason. They cannot be saved. They cannot be reformed. Let's stop complaining about them and start building the media empires of the future ourselves.
And while all the talks were certainly insightful and informative and visionary, one stood out among them all as diagnosing exactly what needs to be done to destroy the WEF and our globalist tyranny once and for all. But first, gang, you've got to click on that link below and get yourself and the patriots in your life this incredible Trump $50 coin. Gang, they're beautiful. For a limited time, you can get these incredible collectible $50 for just a quarter of their original price. Each coin is 100% genuine JFK $50 and comes with a certificate of authenticity, letting you know it's one of a limited set. They're all made right here in the USA and make a perfect gift for the MAGA patriots in your life. You can feel the energy rising for 2024, so show your support for the greatest political comeback in history today by clicking on the link in the description below. Get your own Trump $50 today. At the conference came a powerful address by Eastern Orthodox philosopher and artist Jonathan Pageau on the nature of the good in a flourishing society, and he focused on precisely what needs to be done to ultimately end this globalist tyranny.
The only thing we actually need to know about that is whatever it is you're chasing right now, it ain't it. Whatever it is you think is the most important, it's not. It's not the most important. The supreme good is not money, it's not energy, it's not freedom, it's not family, it's not knowledge, it's not safety, it's not diversity, and it's not inclusion. Though all those things are good, they should never be treated as the supreme good, lest they become idols and gods that will tyrannize us. And so the goods must dance together. They play against each other. They have to be put in proper hierarchies where the more encompassing goods, like the virtues, guide the lower goods, like the stuff. With none of the goods completely ruling the others, or else they might become, once again, vices that will overwhelm you. And so, and at least for now, I think that even for those who are here or those who are watching this who do not believe and do not worship the supreme ineffable good, at least keep your eyes high, and at least always look higher, and don't let your sight and your perception stop at the goods that you care about today. So thank you.
Now, what Pageau just said there is so key to understanding the civilizational crisis we're facing today, of which the demons in Davos are the primary nefarious agents. Religion, in the classical historic sense, is simply the revelation of reality. Jordan Peterson has been masterful in demonstrating this, even to some of the more hardened atheists like Sam Harris. Our minds, our cognitive structure, by its very nature, sees the world in religious terms. In other words, everyone has a sacred. Everyone has something that's absolute and unquestionable. Everyone has a vision of the cosmos in relation to that sacred. Everyone has a vision of society in relation to that sacred cosmos. Everyone has an ethics to be lived out in society. And the classical religions were simply grand revelations of this vision of reality, from the eternal all the way down to the minute-by-minute life, from mountains to molehills, as it were. All the great books and stories and music and architecture reflect that religious vision. Human civilization is historically rooted in the sacred, with some kind of priestly class tasked with interpreting that sacred, and then a political class tasked with enacting that sacred, a military class to protect that sacred, and then a cascading tapestry of various spheres of society that fulfills the sacred in every aspect of life, from all kinds of careers, enterprises, economic endeavors, and the like. What modern globalist society and the demons in Davos represent is the total inversion of the civilizational order. For them, scientists, technocrats, managerial and economic elite, which are traditionally more at the bottom of the sacred hierarchy, they're now at the top. They're the ones who are actually engineering and orchestrating society completely without any regard to a sacred vision and without any sacred restraints. They're truly the masters of their own universe. They're technocratic tyrants dedicated to implementing mechanisms of control and manipulation. And in the process, they've consigned the classical visions of the sacred to absolute meaninglessness. They've ripped apart all that has to do with the eternal values of truth, goodness, and beauty, faith, family, and freedom. This is the very heart of our predicament. And what Pajot is getting at there is that the only solution for us ultimately is in our own lives, and collectively we have to restore that sacred hierarchy. That's the very architecture of reality and human civilization. Nothing short of that is going to work to resolve our current civilizational crisis. The good news is that with the gathering of ARC in London this week, it does appear that that civilizational restoration is well underway.
Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.